Let me ask you a few questions. Do you love action gameplay, emotional story, open world, stunning graphics that are out of this world? How about some jank budget JRPGs? And most importantly, do you love God? And I mean really love God? Then Lightning Returns Final Fantasy... Wait, this isn't Dragon Quest. Final Fantasy. Religion. Good. Nah, I'm not buying it. Regardless, do I have a game for you? From the man we all love to hate because we're extremely jealous that we couldn't make a trilogy about our waifu, or actual wife in his case. Motomu Toriyama is an absolute ladies' man and had a whole presentation on Lightning and about how she watches over the development team and gives them courage. In return, he gives her roses. What a gentleman. Lightning Returns is the third game in the very divisive Final Fantasy XIII series. It's called Lightning Returns because Lightning returns Final Fantasy into being a good game again. While Final Fantasy XIII did some neat things, I think that Lightning Returns battle system is the best the series.
Actually, Command Synergy Battle is one of the better Final Fantasy combat systems. CSB allows our players to customize job loadouts for any situation, while simultaneously trimming the fat of other job-based titles like Final Fantasy V. We have 10 plus classes and end up never using half of them. And much like Final Fantasy X, debuffs are actually useful in most encounters.
Vaughn, I get it. Can you please stop now?
Fine, enjoy Lightning Strikes Thrice or whatever the fuck their game's called. Going back to Xenoblade, at least the waifus there appreciate me.
Wow. How rude to just cut in like that. Where was I? Oh yes, I firmly believe that Lightning Returns has not only the best battle system within the whole trilogy, but one of the best in all of Final Fantasy. There are plenty of options to take down all these foes who pose the great god Bunavelza, and if you're a cosplayer, there's plenty of options to look cute on the convention floor as you save souls before going into the next world. There's even cute little accessories you can put on Lightning. Adorable. And along with Light's new looks, her emotions were also removed for bigger breasts. Toriyama is indeed the most cultured man. But back to the battle system. While at first you are very limited on the attacks you can do, even just a simple light attack is an ability that takes up one of your 4 slots. It's not long before you're elbow deep within the borderline of new abilities, however. Much like Final Fantasy XIII, you can equip 3 different jobs to swap seamlessly with on the battlefield, and I do mean seamlessly. While Lightning Returns may run like absolute dookie when running around in the cities and open world, the battles get transported into the frame rate zone. It's so satisfying to see an enemy wind up for a big attack and swap just in time to block or evade. However, these attacks are not free. Your ATB bar works similar to stamina as made famous by the Soulsborne series. Guess you could say that Lightning Returns is the Dark Souls of Final Fantasy. I wish I were kidding. Everyone I talk to recommend that I start the game on easy, and even then some fights are hard. Not a day goes by where I don't blame the Soul series for inserting difficulty into my video games. It's also not enough that you just swing your weapon and dodge roll around until your enemies are defeated. You have to worry about staggering your opponents most of the time, something that Osakan natives aren't familiar with. Once they are staggered, you need to make sure that your heavy-hitting jobs are full on their ATB, or else you essentially wasted all that hard work you put in. While the combat is some of my favorite in the series, there's somewhat of an issue. You don't get any experience points from it. You get rewards such as items, new abilities, and most important of all, energy points, otherwise known as EP. EP is what's going to be your friend on this literal world-ending journey. It's what helps keep you going to get stronger and survive longer until the 13th day, until the world ends. However, they say you have 13 days, but you actually don't. That's more of your end goal. In order to reach that 13th day, you have to do side quests along with the main story. Oh, it's 13 days because of Final Fantasy XIII. Clever. So you remember that neat little indie Nintendo game that came out forever ago? Majora's Mask? Yeah, this game is kind of like that, except there's no reversing time. Each passing second is gone forever unless you manage to spend your EP to stop time. Don't worry though, EP is fairly easy and quick to farm, but you still need to make use of that time efficiently. Just be careful because not even the power of God can stop the most powerful of all Japanese deities, the train's schedule. Taking the train will advance time a bit because it just be like that sometimes. I won't lie to you, the intimidation of time limits also had me opening up guides just so I wouldn't waste a precious second. The weirdest part about all this is that Lightning Returns kinda solves the meaningless side quests in open world games by giving them meaning through the game's mechanics. The more souls you save, the more you can offer to Yggdrasil. Hey look, another Dragon Quest reference, which leads to you delaying the inevitable. All this in the name of moving on to Booney's new world with all the souls you saved. You know, I'm just really convinced God got bored with the save file, but wanted to keep some of the more interesting Pokemon he's captured and bred. Speaking of the world, Lightning Returns world, while ugly, and everyone lives in the realm of poor frame rate unless they get into fights, but it also feels so alive. You'll encounter a lot of people in the cities and even the wilderness. I really wasn't expecting that. And there are side quests that will happen naturally as you progress, such as this pickpocket. I thought nothing of it, got my life savings of 200 gil back, gave him a stern talking to, and slapped him in the back of the head and sent him on his his way. Later, I ran into a guy who told me about the little pickpocket's father. He gives me a letter to give to the kid. I go back, get that letter stolen, and then tell that kid to read it, and then have a nice heart-to-heart. And it was a pretty nice moment for Lightning's character. And do you also love music? Because there are plenty of street musicians that just play music throughout the Final Fantasy series, and they range from beautiful guitar vocal covers, epic metal video game covers, and the best rendition of Battle on the Big Bridge you ever did hear. It's honestly the biggest step up from a big criticism Final Fantasy XIII had from not having any towns. From HD towns are too hard to, who are we kidding, HD towns are still hard. Have you seen these textures? But nothing felt empty and exploring just feels nice. You do have a sprint meter to help you get around faster, and in one area you can get a chocobo that I'm still doing quests for to continue the story. I don't want to talk about the story as I'm still going through it, aka I didn't complete the entire trilogy, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little lost in some parts. But it is nice seeing some of these characters again. Snow really seems to regret letting Noel run off with Sarah while he goes beat his flan in the shed. There was also a really dramatic scene between Lightning and Noel about prophecy and being with one's waifu again. The story might be a really big dumb, but hey, I'm all about the big dumb. The dumber, the better, I always say. Now if you excuse me, I'm gonna see if Toriyama will let me take his wife Lightning out on a date.
Hey Toriyama, is Lightning ready yet?